Alright, if you're like me, you're probably wondering where The Mandalorian is headed, or where it's gone. It started off a little shaky, but then it seemed to find its footing, but now it seems to have fallen into a pile of blurg poop. But stay with me, because I think I may have worked out 3 potential ways to view this series. Some better than others. The most recent episode, Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. I hated this episode. During my first watching, I found it dull, uninteresting, and entirely built on nostalgia. The child is almost assassinated in episode 4, and then he's almost assassinated again, and you still leave him alone on the ship with the ramp down. What? There's also some major issues with this episode, like the acting from Orlando Bloom and Ripley's wig, and also the fact that Tatooine is the planet he just happens to fall to. Sure, this entire series is basically taking place in the Outer Rim, but there's like 50 plus other planets that he could have fallen on. With no clear reason, it just felt like a cheap poke at nostalgia. The direction, writing, and pacing felt off for the first time since the series opener, and I just can't help but feel that Lord Filoni isn't ready for live action. I adored his fun wordplay and referential world building in Clone Wars and Rebels, but it just doesn't seem to bridge well into live action. I also think he just overplays it here. There would be an occasional reference or joke in the animated series, but here, there's basically one a minute. From the high ground to no good to us did. It ends up making the Star Wars universe feel that much smaller. And that word, filler, well, I throw it around quite a lot, and from this first perspective, this episode is 100% filler. Does the Mando evolve as a character? No. Does anything new about previous or future events come to light? No, apart from the jingle jangle of a possible fete. Do we advance our knowledge of the child or the seemingly overarching narrative of the show? No. But not every episode needs to focus on the overarching narrative of the season. Sure, but we only have 8 episodes and only 3 left, and we know the bare minimum about Yodish and his Imperial daddies. The last episode was spent saving a little village, and this one, nothing happened. Starting off so strong with an intro to the series, a bit of force use and a rescue, it just feels like the pacing of the series has kind of just gone over there. So yes, filler and a bit is where I originally stood, but on a second watch, maybe there's a little bit more, or in fact a little bit less to this series. It's very hot in Australia. What if we're reading this show wrong, where instead of a big grand epic about the child, it actually stems deeper into the show's inspiration, Western serials? Our hero travels the Wild West, looking for adventure, whatever comes their way. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. They save villages, chase bounties, and almost find love, sometimes in the space of a single episode. Did the episodes connect, draw a larger story? Well, sometimes, but rarely. The TV Western was a set of self-contained adventures with an occasional bit of development for our hero and the world, and maybe, just maybe, that's what the show is. I'm certainly not in this camp, but maybe I'll be able to sway you. Episode 1, we get a generic bounty capture and the establishment of both the guild and clan, the Mando's roots. The guild is a bunch of everyman for themselves bounty hunters, and the clan is a bunch of Mandos that aren't quite the family we once knew. He gets a mission a little bigger than he's had before, but a mission nonetheless. We're introduced to a weird old hermit, a goofy droid, he claims his bounty, and the episode closes. So whilst there is a cliffhanger, the majority of the episode is self-contained. Now chapter 2, sure we continue on, but this is actually the birth of this show's format. Mando's ship needs fixing, so he chats with some Jawas and gets a mission. Succeeding, achieving his goal, the episode ends. Episode 4, he saves a village, we get a little hint at a relationship and a possible new friend, but by the end it's all wrapped up and the formula remains. Episode 5, same thing, a bounty to collect, a potential new friend, but it's all tied up by the close. It's a formula with some slight deviations, fairly similar to a TV Western, but there's one shake-up. Chapter 3. The Sin feels the most unique and the closest to what I kind of wanted and expected from this series. It returns us home, the Mando returns his bounty and gets himself some shiny Beskar. Closed book, next episode, bounty shenanigans. But no! The Mando diverts his path, changes the formula. He takes a step back and rescues the child. He gets in a big gunfight with the guild, but then his brothers appear to save the day, and he escapes. We now have a Mando removed from his guild who have all banded together against him, and his clan is now on his side and for his cause. The child is back in his possession, and he is on the run. In our current TV streaming, binge-watching mindset, we'd assume that's not where the story ends. What did the Imperial Remnant want the child for? That's important, right? We'll get back to that, right? Learn a little bit more? Probably, yes, but if we take the idea of a TV Western, we don't have to. The status quo has changed, the formula slightly diverted, but the core concept of the show remains. A man traveling the Wild West, helping people and himself, but now he's got a price on his back and a child in his arms. I am certainly hoping this all pays off, that we learn more and it's not just a bunch of assorted adventures, but I'd be blind if I couldn't see that people were enjoying this and why they would enjoy this. And for a final perspective, the show is only 8 episodes long. Maybe, just wait, maybe the show will make sense with the sum of its parts and everything will just make sense by the end. Everything's gonna make sense. Maybe. Maybe the miscellaneous heroes and villains we bumped into will come together, and the child subplot will be resolved, or at the very least expanded and teased for season 2. If you can't hold out for the 2 months, then that's fine. We're clearly in a binge culture where we need to see everything instantly and know how it ends straight away, but that's clearly not how the Mando wants to deliver itself. Complaining is also fine, but just realize there might be a grander plan at play here, and maybe it'll all make sense by the end of it. And if you really don't like it and there's just nothing here for you, just stop watching. Don't have a rant on the internet, let others enjoy their fun. After all, Star Wars is for everyone. You've got novels and comics, TV shows and video games. Not everything will connect with you. And also remember that franchises are built on hope, and currently, that's kind of all we have. I have a feeling this series will stick the landing, especially with the brilliant Taika back in the director's seat and Jon Favreau back in the writer's seat for the final episode. But even if it doesn't, there's still plenty of joy here. Amongst the strange characters and jarring direction, Star Wars is still fun, and Star Wars is still dumb. Let's all just calm down and enjoy it for what it is. Or don't, I guess, it is the internet. And speaking of the internet, you can subscribe over there. I don't remember, it's been a long time. There's a subscribe button and 2 videos up there if you feel like watching it. Do you want to see how sweaty I am? Oh, you can't tell. Wow.